Yo, what's up, guys? So I have been no-lifing the PTR as usual with my guild fusion, and we have cleared it a few times. I obviously win as a warlock each time, and I kind of wanted to talk about the bosses real quick from a warlock perspective. I don't want this just to be a, hey guys, this is the raid, and then not talk for the whole VOD, and I'm not going to show you the whole VOD, but I am going to put it on the background while I talk about this right now. So I went as Affliction and Demo multiple times. We've cleared a few times while we're in there as well. I had played Demo more than I played Affliction, but I did get a good taste of Affliction at least once. And also people like Pummel and Aristotle and the people in my guild were Affliction and they were carrying. So I kind of want to talk about the overall raid. Like I said, each boss from both perspectives. Starting with Beasts. Well, actually, first off, in general, I didn't get to play as Destro. I know Destro is doing very, very well. There was a Destro lock that was in there pumping at one point in life. Destro is actually, on a side note, I'll make a video about this later. Destro was doing better than I thought, and not only that, but on the phase 3 sims, they're like 400, roughly 400 DPS simming below Affliction and a good 400 or 500 above Demo. So Destro is actually doing better, is speculated to do better than I thought, than everybody pretty much thought, which is kind of cool. That being said, Affliction is still going to be BIS in terms of single target damage. I'm just saying that because I know there's people out there who don't want to play Affliction, whether they don't like it, whether they're not that good at it, or the snapshotting shit is annoying, and they're playing Demo and maybe they see themselves widening apart. Destro's an option for you now. And not just that, I did feel, obviously I'm not the best player in the world, we know this, but I did feel Demo is, the gap between Demo and Affliction is finally widening in terms of damage. I think you guys have realized that in Old War. This is, you can kind of say that we peaked in Nax and Old War, right? And now it's going to start widening pretty significantly, especially in terms of phase 3 when we get phase 3 BIS and moving into ICC. More on that later, so, you know, follow if you need to learn about it later. Or, before we start, check out the Warlock Discord, your one-stop shop for everything Warlock related. Okay, now, the first boss is Beasts. The Beast is a 3-phase encounter where you fight this big-ass dude, and then you fight 2 worms, and you fight another big dude named Ice Owl, okay? Starting off with phase 1, both Affliction and Demo do very well here because it's this single target pump, and obviously Affliction pulls ahead on the Demo on the single target, which is obvious. But what's fun about this fight is you have some ads that pop up, these little kobolds that you see popping up on the screen. Both of these, you are just dotting them up. You're dotting them up as Affliction. You get to put a UA and a corruption on them. As Demo, you're putting an Immolate and a corruption on them. Obviously, out of those 2 specs, if you're Destro, you'd put Immolate up, then there are 2. Obviously, you're not going to put a corruption or an agony up, but you'd put up an Immolate. Out of those 3 specs, I'm sorry, Affliction definitely is going to get more benefit out of dotting these ads up. They get corruptions. Corruptions is getting their eradication procs, where Demo is getting corruptions for Molten Cores. It's just not that serious as it is for the Affliction locks, right? Affliction lock, obviously, you know, just breathes. All they want is to breathe in that dot damage. So you get to put these kobolds up, and the best part about them is nobody's really turning and burning them. They're kind of dying to natural cleave. They have a little bit of health, not too much, but also they're not dying. It's not one of those things where you put a corruption up and then your dots go away. You actually have time to dot these, sometimes double dot these. So I like that a lot, especially as a dot class, because our dots just get to eat, especially when we benefit from multi-dotting, right? So the first phase, you're just nuking the boss down and you're getting the free farm or free pad. You could just call it pad on the kobolds, right? We like free pad. It's legal pad too, which means they do need to die at some point. So once the Gormok, or whatever the hell his name is, goes down. I don't have the footage right now. I'm just talking, staring at the camera. So I don't know the dude's name, Gormok or something like that. Once he goes down and you're waiting for the worms to come out, you do have to finish the kobolds. Then you kind of can turn and burn them a little bit, right? The next one is the phase 2, which is going to be the 2 worms that come out. This is extremely fun. First off, as Affliction, you're multi-dotting both of these. You have 2 worms up. You focus target usually the strat is to kill the venom one, whatever his name is, Acid Maw. And then, so for that reason, you focus target the off one, the other worm, and he comes up first, full dot into him, and then go to the venom one, or God, what's his name? Acid Maw, and full dot into that guy. So you get to just keep up your dots on both of these. This is multi-target heaven. You guys are going to, as you can see, excel from that. I'm excelling. I'm not even that good of an Affliction lock. You have Pummel and Aristotle and all the other guys that are better than me absolutely carrying right now. So for those of you that pump, you're going to absolutely love this part of the phase, okay? As for Demo, the whole time, Demo's interesting. You're also going to multi-dot, obviously, but there's an interesting factor to this where which you can see, I'm Demo tanking. I'm tanking Acid Maw as a Demo lock. I do miss Warlock tanking, right? So this is one of those things that made me feel kind of good to be a Warlock and tanking. Yeah, you lose a little bit of damage. Well, first off, you're tanking this mob because that lets the other 2 tanks go to the death, whatever, the other worm, and they can just off tank. And then also, whenever we get the little poison that sticks you, the tank can just run to us and we don't have to worry about Death Maw moving or anything. We found this to be easier. I don't think this is our final strat, but it's just saying this is an option. And this is something that you'll probably see guilds doing. So if that is something you will see doing, don't be surprised. But yeah, it's nice. You just throw up a couple Searing Pains, and you pretty much after like 2 or 3 Searing Pains, you don't have a problem with keeping the threat, right? So you're not ultimately losing anything. It does suck because sometimes, depending on your tanking situation, you can't reach the other worm, so you can double dot. But if you're not doing this strat, you're double dotting your ass off as all the specs. Destro, obviously, you're gonna throw up an Immolate on the other mob, and then just slap the main one. But this was a very fun part of the phase. The next phase was Ice Howl, which is just a single target pump session. You're just pumping into them, nothing crazy here. All the specs are just blasting. One thing I would say to make sure, which we'll go over in more of a tip things, is to make sure that you're keeping your, like when you see Ice Howl on your DBM timers getting ready to do his charge thing, what he does is he stands back, blows everybody back against the wall, stuns you. You want to make sure your dots are nice and refreshed. I'll even clip an emo or clip a UA a couple seconds early to make sure that UA doesn't run out, because the worst thing that happens is, it's as all 3 specs with your dots, whatever dots you do have with your 3 specs, you get knocked back to the wall. You're stunned. Your dots are falling off. They fell back right when you knocked off. Now the boss is just sitting there with no damage on him. So you refresh your dots before you get knocked back, which is nice. And then obviously portal out of the way instead of running, because you port faster, you can get some damage on the boss. You get it, but that's just a single target. The next boss was Lord Draxus, or I'm gonna call him Lord J because I like that. It sounds good. So as for Lord J, this is a single target encounter for kind of, and it's a relatively easy encounter. He starts off coming out of this big ass portal and you just whoop his ass, right? However, you do have stuff that you can get some free, let's call it legal padding on as you go, as the ads come out. You have another portal, which you typically need to turn and burn as fast as possible. So it's kind of not really worth putting dots up on it. However, after that, you have Mistresses of Pain that come out, which you need to kill, right? These are one things that don't really get nuked, but they kind of float around there. You will kill them kind of fast. You just dot them up. Affliction gets a UA and corrupt them. Demo gets the Immolation and Corruption, and of course Destro gets to immolate them. So, and also you get some Volcanoes that come out at some point. You get some Infernals that come out at some points. So between the Nether portals, the Mistresses of Pain, the Volcanoes, and the Infernals, you guys have a lot of free legal padding in terms of damage that you can do, because you do need these to dot down, but it's typically like a rock kind of thing, right? And you can even seed them as they get close to Draxus, but don't just sit there and spam seed on unless you guys need to kill them. You kind of just do it if they get close to the boss. Also, a note about this fight that was kind of annoying, that I'm garbage at the game, so I got baited every time by this, is the Mistresses, I can't fucking say that, of Pain have a Mistress Kiss they do, right? They'll cast it. It's a 1.5 second cast. I don't know who it goes on, but if it goes on you, it's whatever ability you cast next, it will do damage to you and then kick that spell for 8 seconds, right? So if you're, it wasn't that annoying as Demo, because like say I'm spamming Shadow Bolts and I don't know, it's fast too. It's like, oh, stop casting. Your DBM or weak ores will tell you to stop casting. And if you don't stop casting at that exact moment, it just kicks you in for the 8 seconds. So say I'm Demo and I'm spamming Shadow Bolts, spamming Shadow Bolts, spamming Shadow Bolts, and then I don't see it, it locks me out. I can just switch to fire and throw some Incinerates up. It's not a big deal. But when I was Affliction, I threw so hard on this fight each time. My dumbass brain could not figure it out, bro. Every time I would try to stop, but it wouldn't work. So I'm sitting here putting a haunt up or putting anything up, and it kicks me for 8 seconds. And yeah, you can spam Incinerates as Affliction, but you know that's garbage. Like you're not really doing much with that, right? So if you have to be really, really careful. Obviously, you guys will be better than me at this. You'll have weak auras at the time to help you with this as well. That's the bane of that fight, is that Mistress's Kiss. If you get it, you need to stop casting. In terms of Affliction, you could just bait it out when you see it. Says stop casting, cast a fire spell, it locks you out of your fire spells, go back into your shadow spells. Outside of that, the fight was relatively simple. Like I said, it's just a single target fight, multi-dot the ads. Yeah, that's it. The next boss was the Faction Champions, and this is just a big ass PvP match. This is like imagine an arena where it's 25 of you versus 10, right? They have 10 of these horde members, each of all different classes and stuff, like Warlock, all the classes pretty much, and you just fuck them up. That's it, right? That's pretty much all you do. We did test if you needed a certain Soul Link build, or if you needed resilience, if you needed anything, and you don't need anything. Both as Demo and Affliction, you don't need anything special. Just go in there as you are and just kill things, right? Yeah, this is a lot of fun, especially for a Warlock, because you're typically going to be on CC duty, so you get to focus target one, you know, keep them feared until the fear DRs, and then go fear another target until the fear DRs, and go back and forth. Like we had a mage and a Warlock alternating, so we'd fear sheep. There's another strat where you can fear there's a Wrestle Druid in tree form, so you can fear him. When that's done, banish him. When that's the off DR, fear him. When that's off DR, banish him. That's kind of fun to do. Those all depend on what strat you're doing with your guild. But in terms of damage, it was a lot of fun. You just multi-dot everything. As Affliction, you were literally just UAing and corrupting everything you can. I did one where I agonied it all, but that was pointless because they decurse and they did dispel, right? So dispels are nice because the UA, what happens when you dispel UA, and then the agony, I was just spreading agonies like an idiot the first time I did it as Affliction, and of course they were decursing almost all of them. So that also, I guess, that depends on who you kill as well, who you kill or CC. As Demo, I did one where I was just single target nuking them, And then I did one where I was immolating everyone and corrupting all of them. So it's just a fun all the way around to do that. It's a lot of fun. I think Destro would be massive amount of fun here. Unfortunately, I was not able to do this with Destro, but I think Shadow Fury would be super fun here. I think just immolating everything and just hard nuking the Chaos Bolts, I think it'd be a lot of fun in terms of like, you know, a Destro spec, to the point where I would have a Destro spec. I'm Demo on my main, so I wouldn't, but if I was Affliction, I might kind of mess around with a Destro spec because it'd be kind of fun. But either way, it's a lot of fun as all 3 specs. And yeah. Next up is Twin Valks, which is a very fun fight in my opinion. How the fight works is you have 2 Valks, Twin Valks. One's light and one's dark, okay? So, and then you have portals around that give you an aura. It gives you a light aura or a dark aura depending on what color you take, okay? So for the example of this video, let's say that your raid is stacking light, which means you'll be attacking the dark. So whatever aura you have, in this example light, whatever boss you fight, if you fight the same color, so if you are light and you fight the light twin, you're doing less damage, 50% less damage to be exact. If you are a light aura and you're fighting the dark boss, you are doing more damage. I don't know how much, 150%, I'm not sure. Someone will say so in the comments, but you're doing more damage to him. So the whole premise of the fight is you want to be hitting the opposite color. Simple enough. However, there's a couple abilities. There's 2 main abilities that the bosses have, which affect how you're playing. The bosses can do either a vortex or a shield break, which heals. The shield break is you have to break this shield down. I don't know how much damage it is. Someone in the comments help me out here. It's a shield break, and after you break the shield, someone needs to interrupt the heal. If not, they heal for like 60% of their health or something, 50%. I don't know. Once again, someone let me know in the comments. And then the other one is the vortex. The vortex is that they do a shit ton of damage to your raid, and depending on what color it is, you either take no damage or you take a lot of damage. So if you guys are light and the dark vortex comes, you guys are taking a shit ton of damage. Cheeky thing about that is it's shadow damage, so the Warlocks can shadow ward it, which is nice. You pretty much can live through it if you shadow ward it, death coil it, hellstone it. I have no problem living through it. But if it's you guys are all light aura and the light Valk does a vortex, it does no damage because you guys are all light, right? It does. I don't know if it does damage, just like no damage, but it, you know, you guys are fine. Now another cheeky thing you can do is that we're messing around with this as Affliction is you can double dot. Like you can double dot. Thanks, shout out to RPG who went and min-maxed this a little bit with me. But say that you guys are all light, right? You want to be able to snap a corruption on the opposite side. So say you guys are all light stack, your raid is besides the soakers, and you're going to go attack the dark. That's normally what you do. You guys are light, you attack dark. However, as an Affliction lock, what if you started dark, right? And then you put like a little quick little ISB up, and then you corruption the off mod, the off one. You corruption the light Valk in this example. Then you port or boot down to port your light portal, click the light portal. Then you're back to being with the rest of the raid like you normally would. Just full target rotation into your the dark ad, right? However, you have the light Valk focus targeted, and you are just every now and then throwing a rank 1 corruption out just to keep the corruption rolling. And not only keep the corruption rolling, but also keep 3 stacks of Shadow Embrace up. This allows you to get both mobs buffed significantly, both twins buffed significantly up with corruptions, right? This also will help drastically when you need to break that shield, because a lot of the problems is you need to break the shield. Say you guys are all light, like I said, and then there's a light shield. You guys are all doing significantly less damage to the light shield trying to break it. Typically you lust here and you make it with the lust, but it helps because you have dots rolling, you have a corruption rolling, a fat corruption. Not only that, but you can see when the special abilities coming up and kind of it's random which one they do. They go through all of the 2 special abilities twice because there's 2 Valks, right? But they only go through it once throughout the encounter, sorry, and then they will go over if the fight's long enough. That you can just guess that the special abilities come up and throw up dots on the light one that matches you just to have a little bit of help ahead of time because you are a ramp class. Same with Shadow Priest and stuff. So yeah, overall it's a really fun fight. I like it a lot, and we'll have more min-max tips on it here later when we get a little bit closer. Not only that, but the Warlock Discord, we're gonna have a channel up where we go over boss kind of strats for Warlocks specifically. So Warlock Discord, your best fucking place to be if you're a Warlock. Next up and last up is Anub. This is the last boss of the encounter. This is a very, very fun encounter, and this is actually, in terms of the raid difficulty, the hardest boss in here. For sure, the hardest boss in here. We wiped a million times. We've not even got close out of the time. We've killed it a handful of times. We've not even got close to doing it with the 50, what is it, the 50 attempts left to get the cloak and stuff. However, Sarth, my boy Sarth has with Noda, I can link the video above if you want to watch his VOD. They actually, their second time through, went and clapped it all out and had 50 attempts left. So that's pretty cool. Congrats to them. Anyway, this is a very fun fight for Affliction. Probably one of the most fun ones. And depending on what your strat is, it's even more fun. I say that because a general strat for every single guild besides ours, it was to seed the ads. This is a single target boss encounter that spawns ads every now and then. So you're fighting him, as you can see, and then he has these burrowers come out. On normal mode, it's 2 burrowers, whatever. It's 2 of these fucking ads, and then on heroic, there's 4 of these ads. most people are just seeding them. You keep your dots up on the boss and you seed off an ad, and it just massive amount of damage, as you can see. Massive amount of damage. Demolocks, this is very good as well because you can run on in there, emo or meta, emo aura, then seed, pop whatever, all your goodies, and just go ham on the boss and the ads. It feels amazing, right? In our example, we aren't allowed to, we're not, it's more beneficial as single target. You want the boss to die, not the ads, right? The ads will die naturally over cleave. You have fire mages, you have hunters, you have, you know, even rep pallies doing good with seal command damage. You have DKs eating it up, right? They have all this passive cleave that they can handle the ads, right? So Warlocks, we think that you should just spam single target into the boss, especially Affliction, because single target, these Affliction locks you're watching right now are all single target. There's not one seed they've done. The seeding is just me because I'm Demo and the seeds act a little bit different, right? And plus my single target damage is ass in comparison to Affliction Warlocks. So for that reason, we're just single target damage spamming the whole time. And then if you see the ads are kind of behind before the new ones come up, you can throw a couple seeds out just to kind of help, right? Obviously seed off the boss so you don't interrupt your corruption. But this is a very, very fun fight. The intermission phase is just more of these scarabs. You can toss the corruption up and start spamming into them. You can do a lot of things to have fun. You're doing whatever your strat is to dodge the burrow, the big burrow that the Anub does, getting behind the frost patches in order, whatever your strat is. And then, you know, you have phase 3 coming up. Phase 3 is an annoying one where he leeches 10% of your current health on normal, and then at 30% if it's on heroic, and it leeches back to the boss. So this is annoying, but it's annoying because life tapping. It gets annoying. Like, you want to life tap the full before phase 3 happens, right? But you're still going to need mana at some point, especially if you're seeding. And this gets annoying because you're stuck at 1 to 2k health the entire time, and you can't heal. You don't want to do, you drain life and coil if you're gonna die, like, obviously, but like you're supposed to be low, and that's kind of the scary feeling that you have here. So, and you can't really tap. It kind of hurts your tap. This is a fight where I had 3 different ranks of life tap. I had my max rank. I think I had a rank 6 and then a rank 5 or 6, a max, a 6, and a 4, and I used all of them. I almost didn't. Whenever I needed mana to get anything out, I just downranked that to a 5 or a 6 or whatever it was. I can look to when we do the tips video, and that gave me enough mana to kind of get the next cast out, which is nice because you got to be careful. Yeah, and that's it. I hope you guys understood me talking a million miles per hour. This is a not scripted video, so there's a big difference if you can't tell from me talking scripted and not scripted. I will be doing the actual boss by boss tips as I always do for all the raids. I didn't do it for Ulduar because, like I said, I missed it. Look for a video that said where I've been gone if you don't know what I'm talking about. Unless there's a desperate need for Ulduar videos, I can't imagine me doing any more of them. I'm still trying to catch up on gear myself. I'm not even pumping that hard. I'm looking like shit. My characters have no gear, like, so. But if you need any help with Ulduar, obviously check out the Warlock Discord, your one-stop shop for everything and anything fucking Warlock related. And then I wrote all the Icy Vein Warlock guides too. If you need anything there, I'll have all my phase 3 up for Icy Veins up soon. You can look at the past couple videos to see all the phase 3 BIS ones. Destro will be out tomorrow. Peace. I fucking love you guys. Have fun. Bye.